What I'm about to share with you is real. It's not just theory or my woo-woo ideas. It is based on scientific fact, and it is based on a 1% that you could be a part of. Everyone can. If you choose to do this, and I will ask you some questions and demonstrate to you the power of the 1%, everything in your life could change. But you're going to have to take this action. I'll tell you how to do it. Are you ready to go into the Great Awakening, the shift of amazing miracles and things you can't possibly imagine here on earth? Let's go. Welcome to Landria on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing, amazing life. How's that possible? Because we're creating everything. Yes, we are. Now, I want to just point out a couple of things to you. First of all, if you're already one of my students, we study this every day. And if you're not, then I'm going to share some stuff with you today that is going to rock your world. If you're not up on this, we're going to bring you there, and you can participate starting today in what is so powerful it could shift the entire planet. In fact, it already is. What is it? It only takes 1%, not the majority, of persons on this planet with a focus on prosperity, health, joy, love, to shift it into something amazing. Now, here's what I'm going to explain to you. How does that work? I'll give you examples that are off the charts, mind-blowing, about how we can actually change the past. Yep, I'm going to demonstrate that to you before the end of this video. You're going to get it all. So how does the 1% work? Many studies and experiments have been done, most of the time, by people who wanted to prove it's wrong that prayer has any effect on anything, have found out the opposite. So these are people going in trying to prove that prayer doesn't affect the results, when in fact it has a massive effect. If you've heard of the Maharishi effect, performed a couple decades ago, a group of people would meditate on a specific area. There has to be focus. This is quantum physics. And through their focus on healing, love, and anything else that is positive and high frequency, it changed the crime rate, the death rate, and many, many other factors to the positive. In fact, the crime rate went down noticeably. And when they stopped doing it, I think it was 3 years they did this, it went back up. What does that show us? We have to be on it. We can't just do something once in a while. Now, I'm going to go into this on how it works with you. Let's have some coffee. If you focus, and this is how manifesting works, if you focus on something, and you watch my 3 seconds to manifest anything video, you know that I'm telling you that when you focus on something positive to make positive change, it's working. But what we're doing is the other 99% of the time, we're thinking of what we can't do. The world is, going to, what in a handbasket, and all these other negative thoughts. My mom and dad don't love me. Life is not fair. And then we go over here and, oh, I desire to be healthy, wealthy. Where's that amazing relationship? And you believe it, and then you go back over here, and that's the 1% going the other way. And this is why majority of people do not manifest what they desire, and they don't change the world, because that thought is also going into the collective. Prayer is an example and demonstration that we are one. Now, I'm going to share something with you that's really mind-blowing, because this is in operation at all times. It's not something we do once in a while. You're always manifesting, putting into the collective. If you've seen an interview of Lynn McTaggart, I think it's Lynn McTaggart, I'll look it up and I'll put the name up here. A scientist who's studying the effects of all these amazing things that we can't wrap our head around in the quantum field. And she shared a story about a scientist who, back in 2000, I think it was 2005, wanted to prove that prayer, the focus of all of us on something higher, wanted to prove that it doesn't work and that it's just a psychological thing or some other bizarre random factors. What he did is he took patients who all had a blood infection that was critical, actually life-threatening. All of them had the same thing. He took half of those patients and he took their files and he put them over here, and he took the files of the other patients over here. All of them received the exact same medications that they were supposed to. All of them. Nobody got a placebo or anything like that. But this group over here was prayed over. And I don't know the period of time, but they consistently prayed over that group. Now, here's what happened. The group that got prayed over had a significant healing rate, recovery rate, and this one, not so much. This is what's going to blow your mind. He did this in 2005, realized prayer actually did have an effect, but here's what really freaking will blow your mind. The patients were from a couple decades prior. When they opened up the files to look at the results of the patients, by the way, they didn't look at them first, they knew what the situation was. When they looked at the files after they did the demonstration of prayer, the ones they prayed over had healed and the other ones didn't. They were doing it on patients from 2 decades earlier. Okay, are you getting this? They changed the past. So those patients were being healed on in the future, and it affected them. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. When I was in my super high awakened state, freaky high awakened state, where you're actually functioning mostly outside your body, I received 2 pieces of information, which at the time was like, I couldn't even comprehend it. Everything is one thing happening. Not simultaneously. Everything is one thing happening. Not I'm happening and you're happening and you're happening and we're connected. We're one thing happening, all right? The second thing I was told is there's no such thing as time. So whatever's happening is affecting everything in every time, linear time, everything future. It's always constantly changing things. We can actually change the past. All right, blowing your mind a little bit? The Maharishi effect, people are still doing that stuff. When we do global meditations, we're changing the world. We're shifting the world. When you do that and then you go and focus on the negativity and argue with your neighbor, you are now creating separation and density. If you are not part of the 1%, you will not participate in the new earth and the great awakening. It's impossible because you are now shifting into another dimension. And we are one, but we also get to experience our individual realities because the one is experiencing contrast of everything it can be. So you won't even know that we went off and are living in a completely different world if you don't go into that space. Now here's what's going to happen to you. Now we're usually doubting ourselves, right? So we see something and we focus on it. And so we want something else that we see as something separate or in the future. This is why consciousness in the present moment is so important. Because it is right now. It's never in the future and it's not the past. It's all one thing at one amazing time, always happening. You're connected to everything, so when you focus on something, you are affecting it. You can affect other people, situations, events. I want you to remember, if everything's one thing happening, there are endless probabilities within it that will still happen, all right? So if you say, that didn't work, that event happened. Somewhere else, there's a whole group of people that are changing the events in a different probability. I know. So this has all been proven through science that this is what's going on, and that our consciousness and focus is constantly creating whatever we focus on, always. And you already know this, but are you doing it? If you're in my monthly miracle circle, the master key system starts out, and I train everybody on this, on the consciousness of that which you desire. Not desiring it to come into your life, but being the consciousness now. In other words, when people pray and focus, what they do is they see the person who is ill as perfect and healed. They don't see a sick person that they want to heal. They see a well person. This is how it works. If you are not part of that 1%, you will not live in that dimension, that reality, that existence. And you don't have to understand how it works. But this is true. All right, those of you who are into the, alien life and all this stuff, you hear about, certain entities going through walls. They're just within the same frequency of that which they're passing through. We're dense. We're hitting walls. When we go into this other realm of which we actually go outside our bodies, we pass through walls. People have had out-of-body experiences. That's what that is. You are now connecting into a higher frequency and dimension outside of your body, and therefore you can go anywhere. The body might remain here while you're out touring the world. These are all frequencies, all happening at the same time, all probabilities, all dimensions of which we get free will to choose. And if you contribute to the higher one, you will experience it. It's that simple. You can change the past. Now, I have people that want to change the past in very low level density ways that are self-serving. You have to remember, if you want somebody else to be different or have a different feeling about you, or you want to look different, that is not a high frequency. Healing people, wanting the best for them and allowing them to choose, is a high frequency. Wanting something different or not wanting your parents. Somebody writes, I would like to switch out my parents. I'm sorry, you chose those parents. You chose everything. And so when you go the high frequency of peace and you have acceptance, and all of these things that are playing out are part of our experience and our evolutionary growth, to recognize that we can actually have a massive effect and pull out of this is part of the game. So when you're trying to change material world stuff for your own gain, greed, or you don't think you're good enough or pretty enough or tall enough or smart enough or handsome enough, not going to happen. You're in a low frequency. So this is why I teach the Miracle Circle. The Miracle Circle, if you guys want to come over, it's a monthly membership. It's less than a cheap meal every month. It's worth it. I'm teaching you that not only do we manifest, we do it on a high frequency, because people like massive rulers who have destroyed half the planet and gone after power and all this other garbage, well, guess what? They were major manifestors, but we do it on a high frequency. So when we're putting our effort into something, we're always putting high frequency wishes, blessings, and compassion so that those around us will be affected. So you do change other people, but they still get to choose within that. So if they're in a high frequency, they're picking up the high frequency, all those guys who didn't rob the houses or didn't murder somebody, guys or girls, in that city, made a higher choice. That's how it works. They were feeling that high frequency, and all of a sudden they decided, I don't want to do this. Or the anger didn't rise up. This is the effect you have. Are you going to be the 1%? How do you do this? We're going to pray every day. Now, all of my students, they wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is they're thankful. They make a statement of what is about their own lives. They send blessings to the planet for healing and awakening. We always do that every day. And I do it whenever I get a chance. I send blessings at night when I blow out my candles. I send blessings around the planet. I imagine beautiful white light healing and awakening. But each one of those people that I'm blessing have the choice individually to choose, because it's part of the play that allows us to experience every possible facet of ourselves, the one thing. There's only one thing happening. Past, present, future, all probabilities is one thing happening. When you look at somebody else and you criticize them, how's that possible? That's you. It's you. We are one species here on this planet. How on earth could we have any kind of animosity towards somebody else because they have a different skin color? Do you know how insane that sounds? Or somebody who's from a different culture or a different country? It's insanity, because that's another expression of you, and you are another expression of them. It's not me and you are all expressions of me. No, I'm one of all the expressions. I'm one of one. All happening. You can change the past. Now, I want to share with you the 1%. You can have as few as 8 people. This is based on the experiments, the information that I saw on this video. You can have as few as 8 people to make a difference. So you can create prayer groups. Now, if you join the Miracle Circle, we have a private group, and we're always sending out prayers, and every month I have a master class, and we always do meditation, and we go out into the cosmos. We do some pretty cool stuff. So if you want to join, go to landriaonkka.com, the monthly Miracle Circle. You can participate in that. All right? So you can even make a request, and with no less than, or no more than 8 people who will focus on that with you, you can experience results. All right? I don't know what your personal journey is or what you're supposed to learn from the challenges that you may be experiencing, but I guarantee you that we can help make a change. This has to happen every day, so you can't do it part of the time. You have to do it all of the time, because that prayer without focus goes back to the negativity. If your focus is over here, this is how it works. You can be part of the 1%, and you cannot be criticizing your neighbor or the governments or anybody else. No one. You are responsible. Spiritual butt kick, my friend. My book's coming out soon. Your Spiritual Butt Kick. What's the first thing I say? Sorry, but you're responsible. That's it. You can close the book. Sorry, but you wield that power. I'm doing it. I'm not doing that. Yes, you are. You're participating in it, and you are contributing to it. And so as a collective, we have a collective experience and we have an individual experience, but they're always connected, because your individual experience, of course, is a part of what you see out here. So it's going to affect you. You can change it. We can change it. Are you the 1%? Yeah, this is mind-blowing stuff, but it's real. Quantum physics, your focus is everything. What are you focused on? Please subscribe. Please share these. And if you want to come over and join the Miracle Circle, you can. If you want to get internet training, I got something really cool coming up soon. If you guys want to have a spiritually conscious business, I have Digital Explorers being launched in April. And we spend time not just trying to figure out how to make money online, but actually creating a high frequency business. It's pretty cool. And a focus is not on the tech stuff. It's just really creating something that's amazing for you first. Because if you're not doing something you love and you're passionate about, then you're sending, negative messages of anxiety and frustration. This is why it's so important for you to be really connected to every part of your life on a high frequency. Your relationships, your job, everything you're doing. How does it feel? How's it feeling? And if you've been on one of my workshops or master classes, the first thing we always do is we connect to where we are frequency-wise. And every time we get done, I think every single person has. I think once in a while I get somebody who hasn't improved that much, but pretty much 99.99% of the people leave the master class with their frequency up here. So It's usually 1 to 2 hours. You can do it. You can raise your frequency that quickly. Are you ready? You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Come on over. Let's change the world. Namaste.